We're gonna be praating, praating. We're gonna be praating, praating. We're gonna be praating, praating. We're gonna be praating, praating.
Die lekkernis is niet te veel.
Praating.
Die lekkernis is niet te veel. Dat is te veel.
Nou, lekker.
How's it? Just been sitting here thinking, and thinking often leads to praating. And today I'm going to be praating some big facts with the prince of parodies, the king of
Culture.
the king of memes, the musician slash producer slash activist slash cultural icon with a little bit of sexual icon as well, I think. I'm of course talking about the Kiffness, also known as David Scott.
Dankie Groothond.
Groot plesier. Welkom.
It's 'n groot plesier om hier te wees. It's 'n groot plesier as jou groot hare to be here.
Which is very, very groot.
No.
Kakgroot. So listen, welcome to Praating, where we praat about the important things in life and also just some kak as well. What would you say if I told you that all of this was just a ruse, just a ploy to get you here so that we can cancel you?
Well, the lava lamp makes it worthwhile. I would get cancelled just for a moment to stare into that lava lamp and ponder the meaning of my lewe.
That answer was...
It doesn't matter if you get cancelled when you already find meaning in things like that lava lamp and this magnificent groot zol
Yeah, that is a groot zol.
and this wonderful Casio keyboard. I mean,
Life...
what is being cancelled when you have all you need right here?
Very true. So is it fair to say you are not afraid of being cancelled?
Well,
You're
at the
not bang.
At the end of the day, being cancelled is a state of mind. You can't be cancelled if you don't cancel yourself.
Big facts. Big facts. This mic I save for the absolute biggest facts. The stuff that gets locked into the time capsule, sent into space. Usually it takes long before such a big fact comes out. But today, I want you to just say that on this mic. That can't, yeah, that...
If I remember what I said, it's you can't be cancelled if you don't cancel yourself.
Big facts. So let me ask you this. Whenever I speak to you, you sort of come across as if though, and I'm sure you've heard this before, as if though you're a little bit goofed. A little bit like you cupped some zol.
Yeah, well, I clapped that groot zol there a little bit before this talk, or this praating rather.
Yeah.
And normally I'm not this deep, but the zol definitely takes me to those places.
To those places.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get a lot deeper today. Do you zol?
Well, many of you will know me for the amazing song I produced, Zol. Very proud of it. And there's a misconception there that because I made a song called Zol, that I smoked the Zol. I would rook.
Yeah.
And I'm like every now and then I do it.
Yeah.
But you know me, I'm a man of moderation.
Yes.
I think if you do too much Zol, can increase those anxiety levels. A lot of people think Zol takes away your anxiety, but I believe that it sometimes creates it. It might take it away temporarily, but in the long run, if you do it too much, it's not a good thing. But I do enjoy it every now and then.
Yeah, I think everything is about balance in this world. I sometimes wonder if the Zol is the thing that gives you that anxiety, or if it's the thing that shows you that that anxiety is
Is there?
there.
Yeah, no, that's a very interesting point there, because the Zol can definitely reveal parts of you that you don't often look at. But sometimes it makes something that's very small bigger than it actually is.
That's very true. That's very true. So congratulations on the song Zol.
Yeah, no, Max Harrell had nothing to do with it.
No.
I mean, I wanted to give him
Max who?
I forgot his name already.
Me too.
I just wanted to give him a bit of credit, you know, like he's been struggling for a long time. So I
Yeah.
said, bro, take the song Zol that I made and I'll make a music video and give you all the credits.
Yeah, and the money.
And the money, yes.
Oh, dude.
I mean, sometimes you just got to give back, you know?
I believe you have to sometimes give back. Like Samro as well.
Yeah.
Do you feel like after you've given them a little bit of a gas that they've upped their game and improved a bit? Because I wanna pay you one day in Zol and food to just walk with me into Samro, and they'll see you and they'll be like, "Oh shit, we need to sort this dude's stuff out because we don't want Dave coming for us for another round."
Yeah, no, look, ever since Derek Watts paid them a visit earlier this year, I feel like there's a little more weight behind my complaints.
Yes.
The CEO took me for breakfast the other day in Cape Town. That was very nice.
Ooh.
And I think that's one of the only things I've gotten from them this year.
Was the breakfast.
Is a breakfast, yeah. And no, it's a long road.
Yeah.
It's something that's not going to be fixed overnight. But I do have hope for the new CEO. He seems like a bit of a lekker guy.
And the lekkerness is important.
No, of course. He's got groot ambitions.
Yes.
He wants to turn things around, and we'll see what happens. Talk is cheap. He's got to put his royalties where his mouth is.
But
Or our royalties
where
our mouth is.
so that we can eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, because talk is cheap. So if he puts it where his mouth is, then it might be just cheap.
I hear you.
Yeah. So I hope they're watching, so that we're watching you guys 2021.
Yeah.
Hoping to get some big checks.
Hey, but YouTube and Spotify, they pay every month right on time. And hopefully...
But do they pay enough though?
You know what? I've been getting some groot streams on Spotify.
I saw 500 billion.
I know.
Hmm.
And it's enough to kind of get by and pay the rent. But, you know, with 500 billion streams, you'd think I'd own a private yacht by now. But, you know, all I can do is take pictures on someone else's yacht.
Which is worth so much. It's almost like you are owning it, because social media, you know, unless someone sees it with their own eyes, you...
Can we edit that part out? I think I shared a bit too much.
Yeah,
there.
we can.
Yeah.
What do you think of social media? Do you think it's good for humanity, or do you think it's ultimately...
Well, going back to what we were saying about balance earlier, I think if you're creating and adding value to social media, then I think it can be good. But if
Yeah.
you're just consuming the whole time, consuming and not creating,
Yeah.
that's when
But the problem is not everyone is a creator, but now they tap into this thing where they just consume the whole time and then they start feeling bleak.
I think everyone is a creator. I think very few people find that inner creator which spreads joy and good things into the world. At the end of the day, we all want to be entertained.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people find what I think we have, which is entertaining ourselves through creation. I think we both have an understanding that the prize is the creative process. And creating music and creating shows, that's where it's at. I mean, obviously you have to be inspired and watch other people's creations to kind of get new ideas.
Yeah.
That can't be all that you're doing. You gotta find something that you enjoy doing and put it out into the world. I think a lot of people lose that at a young age.
I
They
think so
lose
too.
the thing that they enjoy doing as a kid. And I think that's what being an adult is all about, actually. It's about finding your inner child again, finding the thing that you used to enjoy as a kid and try and make a living from it.
Those are, again, some big facts. And I think what's so great about working in a sort of space of satire and a satirical and humorous space is it gives you so much more sort of scope in order to move and enjoy like creating without any like limitations almost.
Yeah, I mean, the internet's a wonderful place to just find material. And, with the parodies, I could just go and find a backtrack for a song and just, do my own spin on the classics. And I just enjoyed doing that. I was just doing it for cuck and giggles,
Yeah. But there's always okes out there that takes these things really very ernstig. It's
Yeah.
like they've never watched an episode of South Park in their life and they get blank offended really easily. Really.
You'd think the generation that grew up watching South Park would have a bit of a thicker skin.
Yeah.
But
Society has quite a thin skin at the moment, I find.
I mean, look, everyone's going through their own trouble.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been through troubles in my life, and I know what it's like to take it out on someone else. It makes you feel a bit better about your own situation. If you're not feeling so lekker, causing cuck with someone who you want to bring down makes you feel a little bit better about yourself. And when someone does that to me, I think to myself, you know what? I'm almost 100% sure this has nothing to do with me and everything to do with what this person's going through right now.
It's a good mindset to have because it is also a lot to absorb for you. If okes are like coming with
their fire.
Yes.
I mean, I get hate almost every day.
It's like your theme music now.
Yeah.
It's like
But if it's coming from an ordinary pleb, it's water off a duck's back. When it's coming from the people that we even trusted to protect society and protect ordinary citizens like myself, that's when I get a little bit worried. So when the mayor of Ekurhuleni starts a witch hunt on me, posts my face on Twitter and says, "Who's this little racist?"
Yeah.
That's something that you got to take a little bit seriously, because firstly, he's saying this without any actual proof that I'm a racist, which I'm not.
Yeah.
And he's a public figure, and he's he's put in power to kind of protect people like me from unnecessary threats. So he's doing exactly what he's not supposed to do. But yeah, for context, I mean, I did a satirical version of the national anthem. I knew that some people wouldn't like it, but I think for the most part, people saw the humor and enjoyed it. But this particular mayor obviously saw red and, just made crazy allegations against me. And I had lawyers in my inbox saying, dude, you have to sue this guy for defamation and, inciting violence. And I thought about it and I was like, you know what, I could do that, but I'd actually rather want to speak to him.
Yeah.
And that's when I decided to, just try and get his number and have a conversation with him like we're having now. And I think,
you did?
Yeah, we had a conversation, and as much as I don't like the guy, I respect him for actually speaking to me.
Yeah.
And I think that's what needs to happen more. We need to have more honest conversations instead of just having mudslinging fights on the internet.
That is very true. We do need more honest conversations, and that's one of the reasons we are Praating here today. And I actually, if I listen to your music and look at you, you strike me as someone that's very patriotic, very proudly South African, very much like I think you love South Africa and this country. And where does that sort of patriotism come from? Is it something like how you were brought up, or is it something you found?
I think we grew up in a very interesting time. I mean, transitioning from apartheid into the new South Africa. I mean, this idea of a rainbow nation was instilled in me at a very young age. And I remember being in grade 2, being told by my teachers, this is the new flag. And we had a whole class where we colored in the new flag and we were told about Mandela. And I think, it had a very profound impact on me. I think when you're young, you're very impressionable and, open to ideas. So I think this idea it obviously made sense. I mean, the fact that we had a separate country where, only whites could be here and only blacks could be there was crazy. I was kind of oblivious to it, obviously, being so young. But I remember coloring in this flag, and I'm colorblind.
I was going to say, you are colorblind, aren't you?
No, not like the hashtag colorblind.
No. You're actually colorblind.
So I'm actually colorblind, and
so
my teacher thought I was taking the piss from an early age. She was like, why is the blue part purple and why is the green part red?
So what do you, your shirt and my shirt, how does that look to you?
I mean, I see colors, but I get confused with red and green.
Okay.
So purple I often see as blue because it's obviously got red in it. And then I don't see the red. So it's just one of those things.
So you may just say to people, like, you can't see color.
Yeah.
When they tell you
that
you're
doesn't
racist.
go down well on Twitter, though.
Really? Twitter is
If I said, I am colorblind, people are not going to take that literally. They're going to...
You must make a hashtag, literally colorblind.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it could be a way to troll people. Like, just put it out there, say, I am colorblind, and see how Twitter reacts. And then if everything goes to plan, I'll be cancelled. But then at the end, I'll say, no, guys, I'm actually colorblind.
Yeah.
And then everyone will feel like
and then you'll get re-subscribed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, once you're cancelled, then even if your intentions were right and, even if people knew that I was actually colorblind, I think I would still remain cancelled.
You think so?
You know what, Who knows? Social experiment.
Well, we'll see
what happens.
We'll see what happens after this goes out. The hashtag colorblind
For real.
Yeah, colorblind for real. So tell me, would you say you're a happy person?
I think for the most part, yes. I think happiness is definitely something that is cultivated from within. I think I've got I can't compare my internal universe to anyone else's because I don't know what it's like, but I've got a lot going on inside and a lot to kind of just keep me at peace.
Yeah.
And, I think, I've always created my own fun and just my own kind of entertainment through music and just ideas and that kind of thing. So even if the world around me is crumbling, I think there's always something going on inside that just kind of keeps me sane.
That's really cool. It's better to depend on something internal rather than external for happiness.
Yeah, I mean, if you're depending on your PlayStation for happiness, what do you do when there's load shedding,
What do you do when there's load shedding
in your soul?
in your soul?
Yo.
Which we all get sometimes. There's a little bit of load shedding,
Yo.
No,
I've had those moments, man, where things feel a bit hopeless. But sometimes all it takes is actually just going offline a bit,
Yeah.
Just remembering what's important, looking at the people around you,
Brings you happiness.
Yeah, spending time with my boot or my mom and dad, going for a walk on the beach.
That's lovely.
That kind of thing, just restores the internal peace,
Yeah. That's very important, that internal peace, I think. Sometimes I also just sort of stare into the lava lamp and just also feel all sorts of gevoelens. You know what I mean?
Just as that little piece of lava went up, I mean, it just...
And it's actual lava, that's the best part. They get these lamps, they bottle the lava, and you just get to have a piece of that danger so close to you. It makes me feel puts everything sort of in perspective for me.
Lekker.
Tell me, talking about danger, are you afraid of death?
Sure, eh?
Naught, eh?
I think the more responsibility I take on as a man, and when I talk about responsibility, I'm talking about bringing children into this world and partnering with my wife. I think the fear of death isn't necessarily fear for myself. Like when I was a bachelor doing my own thing, I never really feared death. But I think now, because I'm not responsible for my wife, she's her own person, but because she depends on me as I depend on her, I think the thought of kind of leaving her by herself, I think scares me a little bit. And, if we wanted to have children, the thought of, having kids and then, not being there to provide for them, that scares me.
Yeah.
But on a very selfish level, I think, if now is my time, then it's my time. All you got to do is keep doing what you can to live your truth. And if it happens now, then it would be unfortunate, but maybe in other ways also a good thing. I don't know. It's all the universe is mysterious. Sometimes you'll never know why people go, why they stay. Just got to trust the process.
Yeah, you do. What do you think actually then, what happens after we die? Have you got any theories about that?
So, I mean, I grew up, pretty Christian. And I was taught, if you believe, you go to heaven. But that theory never quite satisfied me. Like the thought that a lot of Christians were living for heaven instead of actually trying to bring heaven to earth. And I think that's kind of what I want to try and do. Just try and bring a bit of light into this world.
Yeah.
And the afterlife for me is the memory of someone when they're gone. I think your spirit lives on so long as people remember you.
Yeah.
And I think, take someone like Nelson Mandela, the fact that we remember him and we honor his birthday every year with the 67 minutes of kindness, that's Mandela's spirit, living on. Like, even though he's gone physically, his spirit lives on in our minds and in our hearts, and, the way he still impacts us.
Yeah.
And I think if I could die physically, but, be remembered for what I did and still have an impact in this world, for me, that's life after death.
That's a really cool philosophy. I must say, for someone that makes parodies and memes, you're quite a kakdiep.
Yeah, we know it, eh? In a strange way, the internet is like your spirit living on once you're gone. I mean, if I'm gone, people can still see my memes and my parodies.
Yeah. It's the great social experiment is the internet is documenting and gathering and capturing everything about humanity, and the good, the bad, the ugly, all in this one place. And that's sort of like our sort of global documentary.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And let me ask you this. A few years ago, you actually spoke out a little bit, or not a little bit, you spoke out against pornography, which I thought was very refreshing and very admirable, because it's this huge, massive thing in the world, huge on the internet, definitely part of society, and yet there's no real conversation around it at all, and the way it is impacting the world, especially, with high-speed internet and...
Yeah. So I struggled with pornography for the longest time throughout high school and university. I just knew in my spirit that
not a good vibe.
This isn't a good thing, but it's something that's so difficult to kind of just shake. And I mean, I don't have a solution for someone who wants to kick the habit, because I was only really able to kick it once I got married. And, through, being honest with my wife and sharing all kinds of things about, my past and my shame and all this stuff, I was able to kind of just free myself from it. And I think, there are a lot of people that have just accepted that, porn is just part of their life and it's not going to go away. It's just there. But there are a lot of people, I think, who also feel the same way I did, where they don't want it to be part of their life, but it's so like ingrained.
Yeah, the thing for me, which I think is one of the problems if you look at it sort of backwards, is that there is no conversation around it. People can sit around a table and say, oh, I gave up alcohol, or I stopped drinking, or I stopped gambling. But if someone says, oh, I've stopped watching porn, I gave up porn, there's still this it's almost like, oh, you're weird. How much
Yeah.
porn were you watching that you had to give it up?
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's just important that if it's this huge thing in the world, that there's this conversation where people are like, hey, maybe I need to also think about this, or how I don't actually have my own sexual identity. It's all come from somewhere else, and you can't possibly.
Well, there's a lot of noise being made about gender-based violence, and I think it's a good thing. A lot of people saying we need to end gender-based violence, but not a lot of people are talking about why there's gender-based violence in the first place. And I strongly believe there's a strong link between pornography and gender-based violence. I mean, even though I was addicted to porn, I never like beat a woman or anything like that. But it definitely changed my perception of women when I stopped watching porn. Suddenly I was able to see women in a completely different light, you know, as a sister or a mother. And I think so long as you're addicted to porn, you're always going to objectify women in some way.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem, is that, you know, if you're horny, that doesn't mean you're entitled to a woman's body, but with pornography, it almost enables you to be entitled to
Trick
just
your-
look,
Your
just,
brain's reward center. And
yeah. And I mean, I don't have anything against women who, you know, want to put themselves on the internet, but I think for the most part, like, we need to be honest. Like, these aren't happy people. They don't want to be there necessarily. I think a lot of the girls who do porn come from broken homes, or, you know, they just need to pay the next rent check, you know. And I think that also helped me, just being able to try and look at this person that I was looking at on Pornhub and try and see them for, you know, who they are. Like, it could have been my sister or my mom, or and with that understanding, it kind of just breaks the illusion that it is. And it becomes quite sad, actually.
No.
So, yeah, there's no real solution as far as I know, but again, I think people just need to talk about it. It's not something I necessarily want to talk about.
No, of course. Well, and that's why respect for, you know, bringing, you know, being honest and open. And I think that takes a lot of guts as well. Because I think it's a struggle, I believe, that a lot of people have and feel, but don't, you know, want to really acknowledge or confront. This has officially become the deepest episode of Praating. And let me tell you,
Yes.
we've had some kakdiep ones.
Yes.
There's been crying.
We haven't got there yet.
Maybe we'll cry as the credits roll.
We've got some onions lying around.
No, unfortunately not. No. Hi. We are currently experiencing a pandemic, but we are also ervaring an epidemic of social media. The average person spends about 153 minutes every day on social media. And in that tijd, you can read 200 books using our new app called Don't Read the Fucking Books at All.com. But / Don't read the books. Let me change the topic slightly. I want to play a little game called Kiff or Kak.
I like it.
Right. So just to get a bit of a baseline going, like a fat baseline. SABC.
Difficult one, because I know people that work there that are lank kiff, but the organization as a whole,
Pretty kak.
pretty kak.
And Jeremy Loops.
Again, a bit of a tough one,
Complicated.
because he can't deny his music's quite kiff. As much as I don't like to admit it. And the other thing is, Jeremy and myself, we're kiff mates. When we see each other, we click. But then when I make fun of him on the internet, he takes himself quite seriously. And one day, Jeremy, if you're watching this, I just really hope you can learn to laugh at yourself. It'll set you free, my friend.
Can you laugh at yourself?
I mean, sometimes it does hurt. If you can dish it, you must learn to take it as well. And I mean, I dish it. So Jeremy, this is an invitation to make fun of me. And if I can't take it, then by all means, call me a hypocrite. But I think for the most part, laugh at myself. It's a good thing to do.
So humor is kiff.
Humor's kiff, yeah. And all credit to Jeremy Loops. I mean, cannot deny the success.
You probably really got 500 billion streams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're touching a nerve there.
Yeah.
I actually just want to be kiff like Jeremy Loops. It's my goal.
What's more powerful, kiffness or lekkerness?
Oof. Asking all the tough questions, bro. Going into that murky grey
Yeah.
waters.
Well, it's crystal clear to me.
Well, look, I think there's lekkerness has something about it that maybe kiffness doesn't have. But on the same token, maybe kiffness has something that lekkerness doesn't have. And there's somehow balance themselves out. It's a bit of yin and yang there.
Very, very important, that yin and yang.
Yeah,
It's again the balance.
yeah.
What do you think about psychedelic mushrooms?
Sure, hey. Well, for one thing, you know, being a...
Shaman.
Yeah, no, but being a Christian throughout my high school and university days, you know, mushrooms was a no-go. You know, I was told this is no good. You're going to go to hell if you eat these things. So I was like, I'm not going to eat those.
Yeah.
But then it was actually my brother who later on experienced mushrooms, and my brother's very protective of me and always gives me good advice, so I trust him. So when he said, Dave, you got to try these mushrooms, I was like, why is my brother telling me to do this? And he said he saw red and green for the first time
Is
ever.
he also colorblind?
He's also colorblind. And he said he could just see colors so clearly. And
That's insane.
so then I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to do it. So 2018, we were in the Netherlands. And obviously you can get
Oh, yeah.
mushrooms and truffles at the coffee shops. So we got some magic truffles and tried those, and it was great. We were walking around town late at night, and I remember coming across a post of Ed Sheeran, and it was illuminated by one of those lights behind him.
Oh, yeah.
And I just stared at Ed Sheeran for the longest time because I've never seen such a red in my life. His hair was just like red. And that was a great experience. And since then, I've taken them on hikes. They say that's the best place to experience it because you're in nature and just everything becomes very kind of interesting. I mean, plants and rocks just kind of take on a new life. And I was actually quite scared afterwards because I thought, Yessie, what if real life isn't as lekker afterwards?
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't think it's... I didn't feel the sort of come down that people talk about with other drugs. And yeah, Again, it's something that I wouldn't take all the time. It's all about that balance and moderation. And I think it also, opens your brain to kind of new connections, and, maybe something that you've been struggling with might become overcomable after having mushrooms. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
I've never taken a dose strong enough, I think, to kind of get into that
but I mean,
space.
you were able to see red, but you haven't been able to see that since. Only on the mushrooms.
Only on the mushrooms, yeah. I mean, I'd say it's kind of like just upping the saturation on a picture when you're editing your
Makes it more
your Instagram
vibrant.
photos. So like how you would normally see colors is, super saturation for me,
Yeah.
But I'll never know, because you're the only one who can objectively see what you see. I mean, your blue could be my green, you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. It's the same with feelings and gedagtes. We somehow think that everyone feels things like we feel, or experiences feelings the way we experience them. But I don't think anyone experiences anything the same.
Yeah. No, I think you're onto something there, Groothond.
I think so too. I think I might be.
I think there are universal human experiences that might not be exactly the same, but I think in general, we do experience more or less the same thing, but, we all react differently to what happens in the news. Someone might be very upset at the idea of another lockdown, but for me, it's like, cool, I get to make more parodies. Whether
Which is
like
all
it or
you
not.
really want to do. You're waiting for that next lockdown just so you could make more parodies.
Exactly.
It's like, have you ever gotten in a debate with someone online and then have them change your outlook or your mind
I don't think that's ever happened in the history
of the internet?
of online arguments.
So what's the point?
Exactly. Sometimes I go through comments just to see if someone says to the stranger they're arguing with, you know what? That last point you made while you tuned my mother was actually very correct. I take back everything I said. You are
Correct.
Yeah, you've
You've
changed
opened
my
my
mind.
eyes.
That's never happened.
Yet people, so if people get into a debate or an argument already knowing that in the back of their mind, it kind of shows you that it's not about your point or the debate. It's just, or it actually is just about your point and having other people validated for you and while you're being watched. So
No, exactly. It's like being on a school playground and you want everyone to cheer for you. It's not about being right or wrong. It's just about being the person who can make the other guy feel small so that you can feel validated. And I've just learned, if you are going to engage with someone online, who disagrees with you, I think it's very important to be kind, or at the very least have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's just no point.
I mean, you've gotten death threats.
Yeah. If people can send me death threats for making a song
Parody.
or whatever, I'm obviously pressing on a very raw nerve, which is sometimes actually the point.
Yes. It's like that's the point of a massage.
Exactly.
You are practically massaging the back of the nation with your parodies.
You know-
and you're pushing on certain points.
And that's what a good doctor does. He presses where it hurts. You need to identify the sore spot so you can fix it. And if my songs or my jokes ruffle some feathers, I'm actually making people think about stuff that they might not have thought of before. I know in my life, if something's offended me, that offense has often been the greatest teacher. Because being offended doesn't mean you're right. And I think that's
Big
where
lesson.
we're at the moment. If something offends you, then that automatically makes you right. And it's definitely not the case.
No. People are strange. I've come to realize.
Die wêreld is mal, bro.
De wêreld is kakmal. Yeah. Now, those are big facts. I feel like I can't help but even though what you're saying it's got a lot of weight, you've got a very chilled pace and manner of speaking. I can't help but slip into that as well. It's a very, I would, if I didn't know you a bit better, I would be like, no, you definitely klapped the zol. Do you guys think he klapped the zol?
Well, I am getting a bit of teruggies.
Yeah, no.
I think it's just this altitude.
It is. It's kak warm up here in Namibia. Now I need to review everything we just discussed in my brain, feel what I think is lacking, like we're seasoning.
Just chuck
Some of that sauce and spices in there, and then bring it home with an epic wind down. So if you have any ideas.
Yo, we've covered a range of things, eh?
No, we have. And it's all going to be edited into 3 minutes.
Yes!
No, I'm joking. Look, Mr. Scott, I know you often get a lot of flack, but I think you're doing excellent work. And I think it's important to get people to dink and to praat. And if making them a little bit quiet in that process is just part of the process. Did I just say making them a little quiet in that process is part of the process?
That makes sense.
But it makes sense. But I think you're doing excellent work, and I think you're fitting into a very unique space that not a lot of people are operating in. And I think that space requires insight, talent, and balls. And I think you possess all three of those things. So I tip my dance hare to you, and I also am in awe of your dance hare. It's
thanks.
like, I'm getting a lot of Hercules vibes. I don't know if you'll be able to do what you're doing if you were to cut your hair short. I don't think you'd carry the same gravitas.
Yeah, you know what happened to old Samson, eh?
Yeah, sorry, I wanted to say Samson and I said Hercules. You see, I did smoke a Zol before.
But Hercules was also cuck strong, eh?
Yeah. See, I just remembered strong oak with a mane of hair and I thought Hercules, but it is Samson.
Luckily, my wife's no Delilah. She's not going to snip my hare and my slop.
No. She will do it when you're awake and she'll be like, it's time.
Yeah. No, actually, someone actually did cut my hair. A little Delilah who said she wanted to cut my hair and give me a trim. And I trusted her with my life. But it ended up being a bit of a schoolboy cut.
Really?
And my girlfriend, wife now, at the time was my girlfriend, was very upset. She wanted to dump me.
Didn't carry the same.
But she stuck with me through those long months where my hair had to recover. And I felt a bit weak.
Yeah.
I lost my voice and my balls.
I can understand that. I mean, I'm only now beginning to learn and understand the power of the groot hare. And it's hard for me to part with that. I don't know if I can handle this amount of power that I'm starting to feel. I mean, 4 or 5 months ago, I wasn't able to rock a gold chain. Now, if I don't have it on, I feel completely naked.
No, I think you've got what it takes to handle the power.
I can go longer,
I think so.
groter.
I think you're ready.
Okay.
I think you're ready to transition from Groothond to kakgroot.
Oh, shit. Wow, dude.
I think you're ready.
You know, let me ask you this. The opposite of the kiffness is the bleakness.
Yeah, no, the bleakness it's very much part of me. Everything that shines in the light casts a shadow.
It's very true.
So, as much as the kiffness is all about the light, the kiffness needs to acknowledge the shadow that it casts, which is the bleakness. And the shadow is something that's often overlooked, but that's actually where the power lies, is being comfortable with your shadow. A lot of people are ashamed of their shadow, but not me, bro. You got to embrace the bleakness.
You have to embrace the bleakness.
Only then can you reach your full potential.
I completely agree with those big facts because you can't shake your shadow. Even when you don't see it, even when it looks like it's not there, it's still there. And you get to do this thing, and I like this term, it's called shadow work. It's sort of like if you were your whole complex being sitting there is a house, and you have your storerooms and your attic and your basement and where you go chuck all the cuck from over the years. And it's all in boxes in the corner in the dark, and there's some spider webs and things. And then when you go and you sort through all that cuck and you know what's there, it's when you don't know, when you're in denial or oblivious to what's there, then it's a way bigger threat to your lighter parts in your existence than when you know, listen, I react this way and I know why. And then you can take the power back and hold it, where otherwise you're like, I don't know why I am this way.
That's kakdiep, bro.
It is deep. So you got to go through those boxes every once in a while and take a bit of stock, chuck out some cuck, put some other things back on the shelf. And, wear that shadow with pride.
I'm proud of my attic, bro.
You have to be.
I'm proud. There's no shame there.
So it's like when people come over, you shove all your dirty laundry and things into the attic or into the cupboard. And when you just be like, hey, we all do washing. When people arrive, just have it all out and you say, we all do washing. Yeah.
Kakdiep.
That is kakdiep. Shouldn't have taken the shrooms before the episode started. Starting to really kick in. But what I was saying, and just in the nick of time, props for having the charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent, which also abbreviates to cunt. Did you know that? Charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. Shout out to RuPaul. But to do what you're doing and fighting for us, because musicians are quite cuck useless It's
Ah,
good to
look,
have someone in the front line tuning Samro to give us
Our money.
our money.
Yeah, no, any musos listening, I'm always just an email away. Just holler at your boy. I'll help where I can. I'll get Derek Watts if I need to.
You've got his number. Do you
Yeah.
do you send him memes privately?
I do.
So you're Derek.
And I send him the emails from Samra that say, that just basically tune cuck.
And you're like, look at this cuck, Derek.
just
This
say,
is
Derek,
time to build episode 2
I
here.
just say, Derek, bro, they're just chucking all their laundry in the attic and they're not
Not
looking.
doing the washing.
Yeah,
Starting to stink in there.
yeah,
It's time to get Derek in there with some detergent.
yeah.
You know, did you watch the show Euphoria?
Can't say that I have.
Okay, well, the next question. Do you think that nude pics is the currency of love? Fucking hell. Okay. I don't know where. No, it's actually from Euphoria, but
What is euphoria?
Euphoria. So I believe every generation, so every 15 or so years or 20 years, there's a new sort of risque show that deals with the sort of formative years and high school kids and sex and drugs. And for my generation, it was a film called Kids by, I think it was Harmony Korine and Larry Clark. And we would watch it, and the parents would be like, what? This is a disgrace. This is disgusting. And then you as a 16 or 17-year-old looks at it, it's like, yeah, no, I understand. And Euphoria had that sort of hype. So I watched it. I thought it was really well made, and the music was insane. The cinematography was insane. And there was a line where they said, like it or not, but in high school today, nudes have become the currency of love.
Sure, eh? Well, I wouldn't know, bro, because
I'll send you a nude pic at some random point, just so you could tell me how it feels.
and can I sell it for
Well, I won't put my
cryptocurrency?
face in it. It's just going to be a close-up of my bag.
Well, what if you put your face in, and then I'll chuck in a little something special in return?
Yeah, it's the currency. So one with face is like,
So, like, I'm Bitcoin and you're Ethereum.
well, if you have face in there, then you're the more expensive one. You know,
And
then
you can trade.
You
And
can be like, okay, this is how much. I like you so much that I'm trusting you with my nude body and my face. I can't even go that's not mine. That's how much I like you, that I'm putting that a level of trust in your inbox. And I trust you, so I'm going to send you later today, I'm going to send you a picture of... It's hard to get the unit and the face in, but I'm going to do it with a bit of an angle.
I look forward to it.
Please tell me how it feels, just so that I can know.
Well, however it does feel, I'm scared it's going to create some dirty laundry in my attic that I'm going to be scared to talk about with my wife. But it's going to have to
It's
come
going to be
out.
hard to explain.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, big facts. Anyway, dude, been an absolute pleasure having you here with us, Praating kak with all the mense, luistering, prating, kyking, drinking, and creating gevoelens. It's very special when the lekkernis and the kiffness comes together and forms Captain Kak epic.
Yeah, it's awesome. It was kif lech. Lech kif.
Do you regret being here?
It's all about balance. There's part of me that's very glad I came, other part that's like, yeah, I shouldn't have come. But that's life, eh?
That's exactly where you want to be.
In the middle.
And that's exactly where you will find the most meaning and feel most alive.
That's where peace is at.
In that middle between comfort and control and chaos and,
Kak.
yeah. And that's where this went down. And we just want to say thank you for cake.